Hey kids, welcome to part 2 of the ammo box, cigar box guitar build. So if you watched the first part 1, you'll see that I got these shells. Well, what I did with these things here is I measured them off here at the right depth for the fretboard. And then I drill a hole in the fretboard, cut these guys off. These things are hard to cut. I ain't gonna lie to you, dude. I was using an angle grinder to cut these things here, and when I did, this is what it looks like. It kind of looks kind of rough, you know. Anyhow, so and then I use my grinder to grind the edges off to make them smooth. And then what I've been doing here is embedding them into the holes here. And it's real easy. The way I've been doing it is I've just been getting a little bit of dab of glue, Q-tip, putting it in the hole. I ran out of glue, guys, sorry. I ran out of glue. Actually, this should be enough for this guy. This will be enough. You just need just enough on the edge just to kind of hold it in there. You know, you don't need a whole lot. And then what I do is put it in the hole. Now if I pushed it down with my finger, it would go below the plane. And so what I did is I just get a flat piece and then push it down with a flat piece, and then don't muck with it, dude. Just leave it right there, right? Because that's like the perfect height. Now I can fine tune it here if I want to by, there you go. Fine tune it or tap it with the hammer, however you want to do. You just don't want to push it in because then it'll be concave. We don't want it concave. We want it smooth and flush. So guys, if you have an easier way to cut these dadgum shells off, let me know, because my angle grinder, that was guarantee that wasn't the best method. So let me know your method for cutting these bad boys here. Didn't you hate it when you showed up in school and the teacher says, all right, today is a pop quiz? You're like, no. All right, today's a pop quiz. I'm going to give you the information and then a pop quiz. So have you ever wondered where is the best place to put a pickup? You know, because the further back you get it toward the bridge, the more trebly it is, the closer you get it to the neck. Of course, the more mellow and more bassy tones you get over here. I've always heard that the big guitar makers strategically put their pickups underneath the harmonics. Now, whether that's true or not, I have not researched it, but I was going to experiment on this build here. So if you know, this is a template for the fretboard, and you know where the harmonics are in reference to these frets, right? So this is the 5th fret here. This is the 7th fret, and we know that we have harmonics right here. And so what I did is I measured the distance from the harmonic here at the 5th fret down to the nut. And I found out that it was, on this 23-inch scale, it was exactly 5 inches and 3/4. I could show that to you here if you don't believe me. If you don't believe me, I don't blame you for not believing me. But anyhow, if you measure this here, it's 5 inches and 3/4 if you line up right at the nut. So hopefully you can see it. It might be upside down. It's upside down because it's right side up for me. So 5 inches and 3/4. I come down. Now this is a 23-inch scale, so I measure off 23 inches down here, right? Boom. And then now I'm going to measure back exactly the same distance, because that's where the harmonic is, right? So what did we say it was? It was 5 inches and 3/4. Well, look at that. It's right on the double dot. Coincidence, right? So 5 3/4 is right on that double dot. So obviously we know, right? Remember I told you there's a pop quiz. We know that there's a harmonic here at the 12th. Or this would actually be the, here's the 12th. This would be the 24th fret, the same harmonic, way up here. Boom. We'll double check that, right? If you don't believe me, you can prove it to yourself by playing the harmonic. Keep your nut, or keep your this thing taped down, because if this moves, then the position from this dot line here where the saddle is moves. And anyhow, this rule of thumb will work for any scale. It doesn't need to be this scale here. I just use those numbers here in the measurement to show you where it was. Actually, what I'm doing is I'm deciding where to put the pickup on this bad boy. And I drew it out. I already drew it out, but then I thought, you know what? I'm gonna experiment here, because I've always heard of this theory, if you want to call it a theory. It's a trick or a technique or whatever, to get your guitar to sound the best. We're gonna figure that out, right? I don't know if it's gonna sound better or not. You know, we'll find out shortly. So I'm gonna measure out from where the saddle is back 5 inches and 3/4, and that's where I'm gonna cut out my template for my humbucker. So everybody knows if there's a pop quiz gonna happen, dude, you need to take notes, which means you need a pencil. All right, so this is a conspiracy. This is an absolute 100% not made up, not fabricated. This is a true, legitimate conspiracy. So remember how I told you that I drew the I just randomly, based on the Fibonacci sequence, no, just based on balance and flow in my mind, I just randomly picked out where to put that pickup, and I just put it down and thought, oh, that looks good right there, and carved it out, or traced it out. I traced it out with a gold Sharpie, that way I could see it, right? That was before I measured it. Now remember when I measured it, I put everything on this stick right here, right? As far as the dots here, it was this dot here. That's where the saddle goes. So all I did was I just put this on the neck, which is the same fret spacing as the 23-inch scale, right? This tells me where my saddle's gonna go. So I line it up, boom, right there. Well, look, lo and behold, again, this is all lined up on this side here, but look right where that right where their harmonic goes. Ta-da! Smack dab in the middle. Guys, you can't make that up. You cannot make that up. You cannot make that up. So it just goes to show you, man, sometimes you got to go by feel, right? Or if you do go by feel, again, by feel we use our ears, but then we go by feel. So my ears have told me that's what it looks like as far as the pickup placement to the neck. All right, pop quiz, guys. You know, so I'm throwing a bunch of information at you. We're gonna see how much of it sticks. Always have good-looking safety goggles, especially when you're doing the diamond metal cuts. This is nice and heavy. I don't need to clamp it. It ain't gonna go nowhere. If it was a little lighter though, I might consider clamping that down. Someone said to try it with a metal blade jigsaw, that you don't get the burn marks. If you go slow with these things here, you don't really get burn marks. But what I'm going to do is, again, I'm going to experiment. I'm going to do just a little bit with this here, and then cut some with the jigsaw metal blade, and then just compare the cuts and see if there's any difference. Just like that, you have a hole for a pickup. Now, this side here, I used the angle grinder, and you can actually see kind of a burn. And you definitely have a little edge there. These edges here, I did with the jigsaw, and this one, and I did the corners with the jigsaw. So I'm still going to file it and stuff like that. I don't think the burn necessarily is that bad. Maybe it's we'll see. So you either have the burn here, or you get these scuff marks from the pushing down with the jigsaw. The bottom of the jigsaw here kind of scratches this here. So there's pluses and minuses. I guess I should maybe take that off next time. But you know, it's part of the character, right? I mean, it's not like it does. It's not like it doesn't have a bunch of scratches already. Safety tip: these edges are really sharp, which means these edges are really sharp. So get yourself a file and take off all the sharp edges and get it on the inside and the outside. And that's real important. You just use your finger on the inside and you can tell when it's sharp. So if it's sharp, take it off, man, because that's the last thing you want to do is have any sharp edges. So what we did next was we got our neck, inserted it, and then drew little lines using your pencil, right, so that that's going to be right underneath there. And again, I used the I marked how deep I needed to go here with the pickup, right, because I want the pickup to be under the plane of the strings, so that's easy. And then you get one of these guys. Just so happens to be conspiracy again, guys. That was the exact same thickness for that, right? So this thing here, you got to do it back and forth 150 times. 150 times will get you the perfect depth. And this is how you're going to get the pickup in. So first, you got to put the pickup in the box and then push it up all the way up so that you can slide the neck in there. I didn't think about that. I'm like, dang it, how am I going to get that neck in there? And then it drops into its little keyhole. So I have enough cut there so I can make adjustments and higher and lower the pickup if I need to. I might go just a little bit deeper, but I think that's going to work just right. Okay, don't forget, some things are real important and some things are not very important. This is one of those things that's really important. Unless you don't think it's important, then it's not important. So after the glue dries, get yourself some fine grit sandpaper. This is like medium fine, 220. It's 220 grit. It's fine enough, right? And so all I'm doing is just basically I'm polishing the top of the the shells. Okay, the reason why I'm saying this is because, man, when these things polish up, dude, they look awesome, man. Look at that. So I saved one here for you. So this one down here, it's not polished. You can see the difference between polished, not polished, polished, not polished. Now, you can't say that, yeah, that looks bad. It looks awesome too, but there's those little glue spots on there, so I wanted to get that off. And then once I hit them with the sandpaper, they just pop. So I'm like, oh, okay. So here's the before, and here is the after. This is just a preliminary. Well, of course, I'll go back and touch it up again, but I did want you to see the before and after on that here before I finish that up. So I'll go back and sand it all down, make it all smooth. It's gonna be smooth and shiny. One of the other things I'm doing is I got a 12 gauge, and I saved the sleeve of this thing here because it fits perfectly over your pinky, and I was wondering if I can get some slides of that thing here. So I'm going to save that to experiment with later. But I got just a regular volume control top, and it just so happens conspiracy. Another conspiracy? No, not another conspiracy. Dang, dude. Man, the fit of this thing here, it's like damn near perfect. So you have the glue gun. I'm just gonna need just a little bit in there just to kind of snug it. And since this is a 12 gauge, I don't know if you can see that. You can say, does your guitar go up to 11? Say, dude, this one goes up to 12. So when you do your sanding, make sure you have a nice bright light. And I get it right up close here because I like to look straight down and see all the shadows and all the little file marks and blemishes and stuff. And you can really see all the little file marks. And 220. That's what I got in my hand, so that's what I'm using. This is 220. And same thing when you get it with the 220, you got to go back and forth because it buffs it up a little bit, and then you can go back and see. Oh shoot, I missed one. go back with your, this is a coarse grit. This is like 80. And it's well used, so it's like a dull 80. One of the things I wanted to point out was this beautiful, you can't see it in this light here. Look at the curly maple. There you go, look at that. Yeah, this curly maple is beautiful. One of the patterns I really like that pop out are these little patterns here. This is the dead giveaway that it's maple when it does that. This little pattern there. So you get the standard maple with the curly maple there. So I'm gonna hit this thing with some of this Delina wax here. I will definitely put this link in the video description here below. So this wax here, super hard. Yeah, so yeah, you guys gotta read that. This is so awesome. Go check out the website here for details, but this is what I'm gonna use for this guy because it makes this curly maple just like pop. Hello. So as you guys know, typically I get my parts at cbgitty.com. These are the pre-wire kits. These pre-wire kits are pretty good. They have the pickup, the volume controls, tone controls, all the knobs and screws, everything you need. Jack, the whole everything is included in these. But in this case here, I'm going to solder up my own pre-wire kit. And the reason being is typically I do everything kind of in place, you know, just open the top and solder and then close it down. But in this case here, because it's kind of a narrow little fit here, it's going to make soldering inside of here difficult. So I'm going to create my own pre-wire kit with the humbucker, the volume control potentiometer, and the jack. Now, I opted for the jack on the top because I want this guitar to be able to be played while you're sitting in a chair, and I don't want the back end of it there. And it also doesn't make sense to put it on the bottom because if you're like sitting on your lap with your knee, right, that thing's going to be in the way. So this one here, I typically don't put the jack on the top, but in this case here, I'm going to have the jack on the top, the volume control, and of course the hinge and the saddle and the pickup. All right, kids, I hope you're still taking notes. So what we've been doing is getting our soldering iron and our solder and our hookup wire. We have been hooking up these components here. So I have the humbucker that has been wired to the potentiometer. And typically what I do here, these are multiple lead, humbucker, multiple lead. So I tie the white and the red together, and that goes to the input side of the potentiometer. And then I tie the black and the green together along with the ground and attach that to the back side of the chassis of the potentiometer. Now this chassis on the potentiometer, I did fold over this tab here, so it's touching. I don't know if you can see that or not, but it's folded over. And then of course the output of the potentiometer goes to the jack, and everything is grounded. I do have an extra ground lead here so I can ground the strings. Very important, very important. Also very important is testing out the system here. So I have it plugged in here. And one method to test these guys out is this guy here. That's the sound it normally makes. And of course we want to test out our volume as well. So thumbs up, guys, thumbs up. Well, that's it for part 2 of the Ammo Box guitar build. Be sure to tune into the next episode where we do the frets, the tuners, of course the electronics. We will button it up, string it up, tune it up, and tear it up. All right, guys, be sure to check the links The affiliate links, promo codes in the video description below. And oh yeah, about that pop quiz. Guys, I was just kidding with the pop quiz. I was just kidding. But I hope you took notes. All right, I hope you enjoyed the video. We'll see you in the next one. Cheers.